Modern warfare is waged at a scale the human eye can't see. Missiles, radar, and communications depend entirely on the microscopic architecture of the semiconductor. This entire global infrastructure is anchored to Taiwan. A disruption at TSMC doesn't just stop phone production, it triggers a $10 trillion economic collapse, paralyzing global banking and transport overnight. India currently faces this vulnerability as an importer. Yet in 1983, the SCL plant in Mohali was mass-producing chips at the 4-micron level, at a time when TSMC didn't even exist. That technological lead vanished on February 13, 1989, when a massive fire gutted the SCL facility. The destruction of the plant forced India to abandon domestic fabrication research and shift toward total reliance on foreign imports. The landscape is shifting again. In response to U.S. sanctions, China is now funneling hundreds of billions into a native chip ecosystem designed to operate independently of the Western supply chain. Modern sovereignty is anchored to the subatomic. Domestic control of the silicon supply chain is the only way to guarantee that national defense systems remain functional during a conflict. Controlling this power started in 1800. While others chased the fleeting spark of static electricity, Alessandro Volta stacked disks of zinc and copper to produce the world's first steady, continuous electrical current. Inventors used this steady current to bridge massive distances. By breaking the flow into timed pulses of dots and dashes, they could transmit complex messages across a wire in seconds. Alexander Graham Bell realized that sound is simply vibration. By using a needle to translate physical acoustic waves into fluctuating electrical signals, he made it possible to send the human voice across a wire. But every wire has resistance. As these electrical signals travel, they lose energy. To build a functional network across a continent, engineers had to find a way to take a dying signal and multiply its strength. Lee DeForest solved this by placing a metallic grid inside a vacuum tube. By using a weak input signal to manipulate the grid, he could control a much larger flow of electrons, effectively magnifying the signal's power. This grid also functioned as a gate. By applying the specific charge, the grid could stop the flow of electrons entirely. The tube became a switch, either on for 1 or off for 0. This ability to switch and amplify didn't just improve the telephone, it created the physical logic for every computer ever built. Early computing was a logistical nightmare. Machines like ENIAC required nearly 18,000 vacuum tubes. They occupied entire buildings, generated massive heat, and failed so often that engineers were constantly replacing broken glass. The post-war military required a smaller, more reliable solution. By 1947, researchers at Bell Labs developed the transistor, a solid-state device that could control voltage using semiconductor materials rather than fragile glass vacuums. Miniaturization accelerated when engineers learned to carve multiple transistors out of a single semiconductor substrate. This was the first integrated circuit, allowing complex logic to fit on a chip the size of a fingernail. Today, we have reached the extremes of physics. A single human hair is roughly 80,000 nanometers wide. Modern chip architecture has shrunk the transistor gate down to just 2 nanometers. At this scale, electrons no longer obey classical rules. In a phenomenon called quantum tunneling, electrons leak through solid atomic barriers, even when the switch is turned off, making the current impossible to stop. Reaching this limit requires billions in capital and absolute manufacturing precision. This barrier is what forced the world's most advanced technology into a single, high-stakes geographical choke point. Taiwan secured its position by specializing. While others focused on design, TSMC focused entirely on the brutal difficulty of manufacturing, becoming the exclusive foundry for the world's most critical technology. This created the Silicon Shield. Because the global economy and the U.S. military would collapse without TSMC's output, Western powers are effectively forced to guarantee Taiwan's security. U.S. trade restrictions have now forced China's hand. They are currently fast-tracking a native chip ecosystem to eliminate their dependence on foreign foundries and nullify the impact of Western sanctions. If China achieves chip independence in the next 5 to 6 years, the Silicon Shield loses its strategic value. For India, this means our borders could face a technologically superior neighbor, while our own defense systems still rely on imported chips. Building an Indian alternative requires more than just money. It demands hyper-pure water systems, a zero-failure power grid, and an education system that prioritizes technical problem-solving over rote memorization. India's opportunity to reclaim the lead lost in Mohali comes with an expiration date. If we fail to establish domestic production in this 5-year window, our national defense will remain permanently vulnerable to external supply cuts.